You know as well as I do that reality could be kinda rough sometimes, and it's good that we can have an escape in video games. But what happens when a game meets us halfway? When it reaches out into our reality to recognize us or even bind us all together? These are the types of feelings that we're going to be focusing on in this video. Community, birthdays, and the closest we've ever gotten to world peace. And in this journey, I will spend an entire day outside trying to recreate something I haven't experienced in almost a decade now. So let's begin by talking about the Nintendo 3DS. When it was first revealed, there was a lot of hype and excitement as it was following the success of the DS. The features of this system fall right in line with the thoughts I had when I first came up with this video. How can games be more than just games? Obviously, the system's biggest gimmick was the 3D slider that received mixed reviews. It also had AR capabilities. But what I want to focus on is my absolute favorite feature from the system, the StreetPass. Basically, if you were carrying a 3DS and passed someone that also had one, the two of you automatically exchanged information. The corner light on your system would turn green, and if you were like me, you would get so excited that you'd open it up ASAP. This concept was unlike anything else in the gaming world at the time. When you go to the Mi Plaza app, you're greeted by all the people you pass by, although this was capped to 10 at a time at launch. But you got to see the Miis of actual people that were around you. You read their message, they tell you what they've been playing, where they're from, their dreams, their hobbies, their birthdays, which can actually be collected. And if you run into the same person more than once, you get to send a personal greeting and rating that'll be shared the next time you pass each other. Again, these are real people who were around you. I took my 3DS absolutely everywhere specifically for this feature. I remember being at the mall and catching the moment the light changed green. I instantly started looking around, trying to frantically figure out who it was. It could have been anyone. Maybe it could have even been you. Just thinking of all those good times really makes me miss my 3DS because I honestly haven't used it in years. I still have it. I took it with me when I moved out years ago, and I haven't used it once. So I have absolutely no idea where it is. Here it is, a home screen of pure nostalgia. I move around, land on Mi Plaza, and I'm immediately taken aback by this because, despite it being so long, I still remember a good chunk of these Miis shown here. In high school, the first thing my friends and I would do during lunchtime was open up our 3DSs and check who showed up in our plaza. There were so many people who I'd pass over and over and over again, almost daily, and I was never able to interact with them in any other way. Aside from being in the same school, this was the only unique connection that we shared. All of those memories came flooding back to me as I scrolled through the sea of people. I went through the various minigames and activities, ones that I haven't thought about in forever. Spoiler alert, over time and with the release of newer portable consoles, people stopped carrying around their 3DS. Its online services were also unfortunately shut down in early April of 2024. Good thing that the StreetPass feature pretty much runs off of local connections. That means there's a chance. A small one, yes, but still, a chance for me to relive that joy of seeing that light illuminate once again. I live in Chicago, the third largest city in the US. There are a lot of people here. If I spend a whole day downtown, will I run into someone who has a 3DS? Especially on the first warm weekend of the year. Let's find out. While I make my way there, let me tell you more about the StreetPass feature. The Miis that you take in aren't just for show. There are a number of different minigames in the plaza. In Puzzle Swap, every single player first starts off with a randomly unlocked piece for a randomly selected puzzle. When that player passes others, they share with them a piece they've unlocked and vice versa. So the more people you pass, the more art you reveal, of which there are about 60. Find Me and Find Me Too are adventure games where you use the Miis you've tagged to save your Mii who has been kidnapped. The battle system was simple, as you could either attack or use magic, which worked off of what color shirt those Miis had. This made it so that the whole campaign was stretched out way longer than a traditional game would be, as just 10 minutes of gameplay depends on how many people you've tagged and if they have the right shirt color you need to advance. There are also opportunities to unlock hats that can be equipped. These were just the more popular ones, as there are loads of others, a good chunk being paid DLC. And it didn't stop here. The StreetPass feature was available for dozens of other games. In Animal Crossing New Leaf, you could visit the homes of people you passed. In Mario Kart 7, other players showed up as Ghost Riders. And my personal favorite was the Super Smash Bros. Street Smash, where you get the tokens of other players and try to knock them off the platform. These examples are just scratching the surface of what was out there. The StreetPass was a huge success, and developers wanted to implement it in their games. Nintendo was also, of course, riding that hype as they would create yellow pants wearing special Miis that were either given out en masse to promote games or were exclusive passes that could be unlocked at events such as E3. Many of them were also based on notable Nintendo employees. The special Miis would also come with special benefits. In Puzzle Swap, you could select a piece for any puzzle, and find me, they're a powerful level 5 warrior. This was truly a special era, and I couldn't help but feel a little down when I was out in public. For every single person that I saw carrying a bag, I caught myself thinking, is it gonna be you? Do you have a 3DS in there? There was a point where I went to a mall and, to my surprise, there was a very crowded farmer's market. I walked through it for a bit, purchased a really good tamale, and then checked my 3DS. The light was green, is what I thought. I quickly realized that the lighting made it seem brighter than it actually was. And when I opened it up, yeah, nothing. I hate that I really missed out on the peak of StreetPass. I was a kid back then and didn't attend any convention or anything like that where there would be a huge number of Nintendo fans. While I was doing research for this video, I read a lot of personal accounts from people who would go there. Passing that many other gamers and having that be represented in such a tangible manner must have felt amazing. And here I was, a decade later, trying so hard just to get a single person. Thus, my journey continued. By the way, if you're enjoying this, please do consider subscribing. It really does help out a lot. Thanks, I appreciate it. Now let's talk about birthdays. Oh, and happy birthday, by the way. I know that's not gonna apply to most of those watching, but that one person out there just got really happy. Remember, laws don't apply to you on your birthday. February 4th, 2017. It's about 1 AM and I decide to play Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. But during a loading screen, I hear this.
Boss, we have an emergency. Get back to Mother Base right now. I mean it. Hurry.
Something happened. Something bad by the sound of it. So I rush over to Mother Base only to find it empty. Alarms are blaring, but there's no one there. What's going on? We move to investigate and suddenly, gunfire. We draw our weapon, but no. What we're hearing isn't gunshots. It's fireworks?
Happy birthday, congratulations. Happy birthday with salutations. Happy birthday, may your skies stay blue. Happy birthday to you.
Now, people had wished me a happy birthday already, but this was a genuine surprise. I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. Never has a video game recognized my birthday. Never has a video game recognized me like this. I couldn't help but have this huge grin on my face, seeing these characters I've spent so long with, characters that I've fought alongside with, characters that have suffered besides me. Here they are, taking a break from our cause, just to celebrate me. I still get chills whenever I watch this scene, and for the birthdays in the years following, I would re-download the game just to experience this again. For me and many others, we developed a special connection with this title because in those moments, it wasn't just a game. I feel like the best way of going through these special games is by level of complexity. So we'll start with the simple ones and work our way up to hype up our perfect birthday game celebration. If you own a Wii U, this screen and tune are probably very familiar. But if you were to boot it up on your birthday, you get this opening instead. And while we're on Nintendo nostalgia, the DS DSi also had a birthday surprise if you go into the PictoChat app. And if you then load up your favorite DS game, Kirby Squeak Squad, you get another cheerful tune alongside this celebratory picture. That's nice, but even if it's your birthday, you probably still want to be on top of your health. So you get out your balance board and load up Wii Fit Plus. Here, you find that the board has a party hat on. Of course it does, it's your day. Just remember that no matter what age you are, exercise will always be important. So after your workout, you're a bit burned out on Nintendo. You want a big kid type of game. Something like Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. And you just so happen to be at the plant chapter. What a coincidence, because this could only happen in this section. You go up to a terminal and input your information. And if it's your birthday, there's a little celebration message and icon for you. Funny enough, you're not the only one that could get this type of message. If you look at a guard whose dog tag you've collected, and if it just so happens to be their birthday, they'll have a happy birthday message above their name. At least one of you is having a good time today. And when you're done here, if you're in the mood for something with a more personal touch, you start playing Trace Memory. This is a game where the protagonist, Ashley Mizuki Robbins, turns 14 on your birthday. That's right, you two are B-Day buddies. That's sure to make you feel more connected to Ashley and her story. However, if you want to take that sort of connection one step further, Final Fantasy Tactics is what you're looking for. Here, your birthday is also shared with the protagonist, Ramza. But the big difference is that your zodiac sign will have a significant impact on the game, as it affects his compatibility with others throughout the entire story. Both allies and enemies will behave differently based on what your sign is. Now, let's say you're feeling a bit more materialistic. You want stuff. In Castlevania Portrait of Ruin, there's a birthday cake available to purchase only on your special day. It can be bought multiple times and heals 573 HP, which is a running joke as the numbers in Japanese form the word Konami. But it's your birthday. Why should you have to buy anything for yourself? That's why in Mega Man ZX, a character named Sherry gives you a slice of birthday cake that restores 8 points of life. And if you want to actually hear your allies wish you a happy birthday, Genshin Impact has you covered.
Hey, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, comrade.
Today is your birthday, so you are the captain.
You'll also receive a cake in the mail alongside a resin restoring gift. That's cool and all, but what if you want someone more famous to notice you? In Hatsune Miku Project Mirai DX, she will give you a cake alongside a happy birthday voice line. That's not all. Because the 3DS has a microphone, you could actually blow out the candles yourself.
Happy birthday!
You also get this scene with the other Vocaloids in the game. Alright, but what if you're tired of cake? Mario and Luigi Dream Team have you covered because on your birthday, you have a whole set of special items that increase your stats by 400%. That includes your attacks. With this gear equipped, you're truly unstoppable. Still not enough? Okay, well, what do you want? Obviously, we're past just getting a cake, so how about a free car? This is included in various Gran Turismo games, and in 6, the car you get is the one that's made either in the year of or closest year to your birth. But surely, it can't get better than this. What's better than a fancy brand new car? I'll tell you, friendship. It's your birthday, and that's what matters most, as these games go out of their way to make your special day feel even more special. In the Mii-based game Tamagotchi Collection, your birthday is so important that it's newsworthy. This is followed by a cutscene of 3 Miis that, well, I'll just let it play.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear HYD. Happy birthday to you.
And then in the next installment, Tamagotchi Life, you'll get a call from a Mii and La 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 la. La 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 la. The one holding the cake is the one that's the most pampered so far. There's also, of course, a news broadcast followed by more footage of a celebration. This is also one where you could blow into the mic to blow out the candles. You could even do it before the Miis have a chance to finish their song. If you want a more in-depth birthday experience, multiple installments of the Pokemon games provide you with various events and gifts. There are a lot. So much so that I'll only go over the bigger ones, but if you're interested in the finer details, this 15-minute video from Mixelli is what you're looking for. Now, in the game set in the Sinnoh region, if you defeat the Elite Four and go to Sandgem Town, your rival, either Lucas or Dawn, will ask if it's your birthday and give you a nice little message. In the Black and White games, the owner of the Pokemon Musical Theater will give you a prop toy cake for your Pokemon to use during contest. The Pokemon Center nurse will ask if it's your birthday today and give you a happy birthday message. This is built upon even further in the XY games in the form of a surprise celebration. The same happens in Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, Sun Moon, Sword Shield, and Scarlet Violet. Speaking of that installment, if you catch a Pokemon on your birthday, there's a 1 in 25 chance that it'll have a destiny mark and be designated a chosen one, strengthening the bond between the two of you. And if you really want to bond and feel the love, there are games out there where relationships are a major part of their appeal. In various installments of the Fire Emblem series, when the system clock lands on the birthday of an allied character, they'll receive an item and stat boosts, alongside birthday greetings from other characters. This is also what happens to you as the protagonist shares your birthday here. And in 3 houses, you can receive a letter with attached gifts from others. These types of events are what typically happen in other more town-focused games too, such as Harvest Moon: A New Beginning, where you give gifts to characters on their birthday and they also give you gifts on yours. And if you're in a relationship, there's a special birthday dinner cutscene for you. Then there's Animal Crossing, with each installment improving their birthday events. Typically, the villager with the highest friendship level will hand-deliver a present to you as soon as you leave your home. Others will send letters with attached gifts, and your mother will send one that has a cake included. In certain installments, you'll also be invited to a villager's home for a surprise birthday party. And in New Horizons, there's a piñata minigame that drops cupcakes that you can hand out. Afterwards, in the town center, famed musical artist KK Slider will be there to sing you a very special song. During this cutscene, instead of the usual credits scroll, multiple happy birthday messages from the town's residents will be displayed for you. Now, before we move on to the final birthday entry, I want to also quickly mention Metal Gear Solid 5's other birthday event. If Quiet is at Mother Base and if you have a 100% bond with her, she'll shoot at you, but only to write out HBD on a box of cigars. Snake grabs one, picks it up, and lets her light it the best way she knows how. Given these scenes in this game, it's no surprise that the next Kojima title would hold similar surprises. At the beginning of Death Stranding, you're prompted to input your birth date and are told it will affect a condition called dooms. What this means isn't really explained, and that's probably because it might just be a way to catch you off guard on your birthday. You'll get a nice message, and in your room, there will be a cake for you that slowly gets eaten away over the coming days. But the main event here happens when you leave the safe house and get a memory from BB. Cliff comes in and asks if you know what day it is. Mom's birthday? Maybe BB's?
No. But today is a very special day, all the same. A special day for a special someone. You may have forgotten, but I haven't. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you, Mads Mikkelsen, Death Stranding. I'm sorry, I need a moment. Let's take a look at what Outside Liuss is going through. I've just been walking around. I mainly stuck to high density areas. Basically, where the people went, I went. But no luck yet. I decided to change my strategy a bit and head to places where someone that carried around a 3DS in the year 2024... Wait, it's 2025? Oh god, the passage of time. I went to areas where those people might be more likely to visit, such as a shop that had a bunch of gamer culture products. I kinda just loitered around and looked at stuff, all while trying to think of a method to buy figures on camera in a way that it counts as a business expense. I also went to a neat little comic shop that had a bunch of people inside. Unfortunately, no luck from either of these spots. So I just wandered around downtown. I'm actually planning on doing stuff like this more, but with an audience and much better equipment. So if that interests you, or if you just want to hang out, go follow me on Twitch, live Mondays and Fridays at 7 p.m. Central. Looking forward to seeing you there. Now, back to my travels. As I was walking around, I eventually ended up at a certain spot, a location that was once a beacon of childhood joy incarnate. The StreetPass was not Nintendo's final attempt at getting people out of the house. They took it one big step further with Pokémon Go, a mobile game that many have longed for. For years, the ability to play Pokemon in the real world was just merely a dream. It's safe to say that pretty much every single person that's played, no matter which version, has thought to themselves how cool it would be if these creatures were real, if they were out there in our world. It's that idea that drove people like artists to try to depict that reality. Then, for April Fool's Day 2014, the official Google Maps YouTube account released this video. Here it was, the closest we've gotten to Pokemon in real life, and it was just supposed to be a gimmick. The premise was that Google had a new job position, Pokemon Master. This video was a call to action to find the very best. The way it worked was that when you went to Google Maps, you would see Pokemon around, and you would capture them just by simply clicking on their icon. There were a total of 151 that were available to catch, with the last being Mew, who would only appear after the rest had been caught. If you were to do this by the 21st of April, you would receive a physical letter from Google alongside a personalized Pokemon Master business card. I remember trying this out, and I don't think I got too far because this did not at all compare to how the video made it seem. This concept, this video, got so many fans excited, even if it wasn't real. So to leave it as a simple Dragon Search April Fool's joke felt kind of like a waste. This is something that the founder of Niantic would notice, who coincidentally was also the former head of Google Maps, Earth, and Street View. But he left his position to start this development company. Their first game, Ingress, had a lot of now familiar elements as players had to physically go out in the real world to play. However, this idea wasn't enough on its own. It needed to be attached to something much bigger than itself, something instantly recognizable. And that's when this April Fool's joke was released. Riding on the public hype, Niantic jumped at the opportunity and contacted Nintendo. On September 10th, 2015, after more than a year of development, utilizing data collected from both Ingress and Google Maps, the official Pokemon YouTube account released this groundbreaking trailer. I remember watching this and having to get up from my seat over how excited I was. I instantly recalled that Google Maps video from the year prior and realized it was all connected. It had to be. My eyes widened with each and every single Pokemon that was shown. Players trading and fighting. This was amazing, and I would have been happy had it ended there. But then, towards the end, they showed a countdown to something. Defeat Mewtwo. As he flew past, multiple people ran towards him. Huge crowds quickly gathering at Times Square. Everyone is sending their Pokemon to weaken the legendary. All in attendance cheered as his health bar lowered and lowered. And right as time was about to run out, chills. Absolute chills. This video has 48.6 million views for a reason. This was our first look at Pokemon Go, and the internet absolutely exploded. Finally, our fantasies of becoming a true trainer in the real world will become a reality. Let me tell you, those months leading up to the release, that wait time was brutal. For me, that was my senior year in high school. I was so stressed out juggling both my academic work and preparing for college. It was this taxing transitional period in my life where I had all these things going on, and I remember holding on to this trailer. All of these exams will be finished. I will get through this and graduate. Summer will come, and I will get to relax and play this game. So then finally, after we started getting glimpses through region-based beta tests, the game was officially released in select locations on July 6, 2016, and the Pokemon world was forever changed.
We're back now with something that may explain any odd behavior you've seen on the streets recently.
Pokemon Go?
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go uses the GPS data from your cell phone to let you track Pokemon in the real world.
Getting out there to find things using their phones with unusual sounding names.
Pinsir, Krabby, Tangela,
Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle.
Rattata, Poliwag, Psyduck.
This group had only been friends for 5 minutes when we ran into them, all meeting, trying to capture Pokemon characters.
The game, so popular, it's now #1 on iTunes.
After discovering that all 4 of his stores were gyms or Pokespots, he designed what he calls a Poke Scene to capture the imagination of new customers.
Heat right now. Got a Pokemon? She's looking at Pokemon right now.
This is unbelievable. Of Pokemon Go users mobilizing into action right here in New York City after reports that a Vaporeon, this is one of the characters. It's a very sought-after character, as you can see.
Oh my God!
Those first days, despite the app not being as fleshed out as fans were expecting, and despite the number of bugs and server issues, it seemed like everyone was playing. The whole point was to physically go outside to catch Pokemon, and you could even turn on an AR mode to make them seem like they were right in front of you. This feature caused a bunch of interesting screenshots to go viral. There were also Pokestops, which were designated landmarks such as statues or buildings. These could also be gyms that players took over on behalf of their chosen team. Big shout out to Team Mystic. But on the Pokestops, players could attach to them a lure module, temporarily attracting more Pokemon towards it, and thus also attracting more players, as it was a universal effect that anyone could take advantage of. This would cause huge crowds to form almost instantly, and don't even get me started whenever a rare Pokemon showed up. I was lucky enough to see this happen in person. I was in another app at the moment doing something when I saw people around me rushing towards a direction. I instantly knew what was going on and I followed, frantically trying to switch over to the Pokemon Go app to see what it was. I really hope you're getting as many flashbacks to those types of moments as I am just talking about this. My friends and I would dedicate whole days just going around to play. We travel on bikes, trying to hit all the best spots. My favorite of those memories is one night where we went to the beach only to find it absolutely packed. Every single person there was not just playing on their phone, but also talking to each other. Between the one gym and the 3 Pokestops there strangers shared stories and laughter. At one point, a rarer water type, probably a Blastoise, appeared just off the shore. And so, many people actually went in the water to get it. Just like in this picture. Ever since that first month, I have never seen anything like this. That sense of sudden overwhelming community. Of course, nothing that good could last forever.
He ran into someone he thought was playing the game, but when he asked him if he wanted to battle, the stranger stabbed him in the shoulder. But rather than go to the hospital to get treated, he continued playing Go instead. An upstate New Yorker was playing the game in Auburn on Tuesday night when he drove off the road and slammed right into a tree.
This rise in popularity led to lots of issues and unfortunate instances, with the game's first ever official event in Chicago being an absolute downright failure. I was actually really hoping to go to this, but thankfully, tickets sold out almost instantly. Over the years, despite the improvements and features added, the game's player base would unfortunately dwindle. Although, given how insanely popular it was at the start, that's kind of to be expected. I myself stopped playing the following year when I left college and didn't go out as much. However, there was still a healthy amount of players out there over the years that would keep playing despite whatever circumstances. For them and for us who stopped, we at least still have those memories that bind us. I especially found it touching how people would get locations tied to their loved ones that had passed on turned into memorial Pokestops. It's also worth mentioning that Niantic would go on to use the success of the game to develop another under a different Nintendo property, Pikmin Bloom. Although this one had more of a focus on being a step tracker type of app. After talking about all this, it really made me curious. I haven't played since 2017. I want to give it another try to see how it is in my area, and even though I know it won't be anything like it was back in the day, I'll hopefully still be able to find some joy and... Oh, that's encouraging. Let's see how the Lius that's touching grass is doing. Yeah, I probably should have downloaded Pokemon Go to see how it is before I spent a whole day outside. But I hadn't written that part of the script yet at that point. I did some more window shopping, but the later end of the day was even more uneventful. The street crowds were dying out and buildings were emptier as closing times neared. And so it was no surprise when I checked my 3DS and nothing. After spending a whole day downtown, I was essentially the only person carrying a 3DS. And although, as someone who usually only leaves his house once a week, it was a generally fun outing. But I couldn't help sulk at this. The sun was setting, the day was pretty much over, and what did I have to show for it? I knew the chance of success here was going to be small, but still. And although it is possible to virtually pass others online using the homebrew app NetPass, it's just not the same. I, and I'm sure many others, would love it if StreetPass made a comeback on the Switch too, or maybe even as a mobile app. I really feel like it's something that's needed now more than ever. But let me know what you think about that down in the comments, and please share the memories you have with anything I talked about. I'm looking forward to reading it all. Thanks for watching.